Yasya chamari rupam dehi jayam dehi yasho dehi dvisho dehi natevyaha sarvadha bhaktya chandike duritapahe rupam dehi jayam dehi yasho dehi dvisho dehi dehi sobhagyam arogyam dehi me paramasukham rupam dehi jayam dehi yasho dehi dvisho dehi videhi devi kalyanam videhi paramam shriyam rupam dehi jayam dehi yasho dehi dvisho dehi himachal sudana samstute parameshwari rupam dehi jayam dehi yasho dehi dvisho dehi indrani pati sabharam pujite parameshwari rupam dehi jayam dehi yasho dehi dvisho dehi devi prachanda.
Okay, my friends, here we go one more time. It's Lou Martin Spirit Talks video project for Saturday, the 5th of November, 2016. And it's good to be here with you. Welcome. We'll trust that all will be in good order here, connection-wise and Wi-Fi-wise and every other way. So I'm sitting by the fire and enjoying a bit of Krishna Das to set the tone here with you for tonight. I'll put this on my Facebook page. Sri Argala Strotan, Show Me Love is the title of it. And it is a beautiful song. Let's have a little more Krishna Das. Okay. That is lovely. So I'll put that link on my page there for you. That's really gorgeous. I got the pleasure of seeing Krishna Das in concert somewhere in Los Angeles, a few years ago, and I had one of those magical moments where I was in the lobby, and I went with my girlfriend at the time. She was somewhere else. And yeah, the man himself, Krishnadas, was there walking around. So I got to chat with him before the concert, which was a real privilege because he's a real sweet, gentle soul who's been singing these spiritual songs as his devotional practice for decades all over the world. And the energy from the concert was so powerful for me. You do all this kirtan, call and response singing. So Krishna and his group would sing a line, and then we'd sing that line. And it just goes on and on and on, and it builds and it builds. And I remember at one point I had I had so much chi or prana or light flowing through me. I mean, it was just extraordinary that I felt like I was in a waterfall of electricity. And I literally, for quite a good part of the concert, was on all fours on the floor. I'm sure I must have looked wonderful to my girlfriend and everyone, but it was the only way I could integrate all this energy. Anyway, so there's some good energy to start the night off, which I'm in need of. You may be as well. Yeah, I hope you're all well. Yeah, a good few things to talk about here. As usual, I'd like to attempt my own interpretation of current events, what's happening in the world and how it relates to our spirit, personally and globally, and then move things in the direction of more overt spiritual topics, and ultimately finish up with a channeled meditation or a prayer. I just want to say once again that it's great to get all this feedback and attention. Every time I do one of these talks, it's around 800 hits, which is wonderful, and I'm really happy to get on here tonight, Saturday, as well as a few days before the election, because of everything that's going on. You might be feeling quite overwhelmed by the news of the last few days. It has truly been shocking, and I'll get into that here in a minute. I've sort of been steeling myself to talk about some of these subjects. But can I just please make a word there that I appreciate what I get to do with everyone here, both in this time together and when you give a thought to having a channeled reading with me via Skype, or supporting me through the purchase of my ebook on at my website, LouMartin.eu, or sit in with me for a Skype group call, which I'll be doing tomorrow night, talking about what my guides call the voice of spirit inspiration. So any of those things, all of those things, and you're always welcome to make a donation to me via PayPal, and my email address is on the web page of this talk here, of Spirit Talks. And you're also invited to join my Facebook page, Awakened Spirits Network. If you're not already there, that's the easiest way to track what I do and what other teachers do, both here in Ireland and around the world. That's the intent of that page. And I appreciate when people follow me, of course, here on my page, on my Facebook page. I've got over 800 followers at this point, which is very nice. I like Michael Beckwith's quote. He says, "I'm not here to make followers. I'm here to create leaders." So let me say that as well. So I know that I get an hour of your time here once a week or more as I get on, and as this gets passed around, and I do appreciate that deeply and sincerely. And I know that we're all in the midst of the greatest spiritual awakening in human history. That's what my life has shown me over these 59 years. And it's a real privilege and an honor and a great responsibility from time to time, a joyous responsibility, as my guides say. And I hope that what I talk about here tonight is inspiring and uplifting and helps you hear the voice of your spirit, and as my guides say, for all of us to learn to listen to, trust, and follow our own loving inner guidance. So thank you again for taking the time to hear what I have to say, and for supporting me in this work in whatever way feels comfortable to you. Okay. I'm going to jump off the cliff. Here we go. So the election is on Tuesday. Yes, I know all is well. The election is on Tuesday, and maybe I'll do a little Lenny Bruce stream of consciousness here. In the last few days, well, all right. So Brenda, one of my lovely partners out there in doing all this, she sent me a link tonight. Brenda and Arancha are my two pillars of support, and I thank them both. Brenda sent me a link tonight about the Million Mask March of Anonymous and their supporters in London. So I was live streaming that at one point, and that was interesting. I mean, I just saw people marching and police basically. But Anonymous has certainly been busy recently, and I will put these links on my Facebook page. Then we have Mr. Steve Pichenik, who's got some things to say. And then we have, and I've actually been listening to Alex Jones, Infowars.com, and there is someone I haven't listened to in years. I got all involved with Alex Jones in 2008, before the first election of Obama and before the crash of 08. And, he was saying a lot of the same things that David Icke was saying, just in a more hysterical fashion. Alex gets really wound up. God love him. But basically, and I also saw, I happened to see, my friend Dorrit sent me a link for Michael Moore's new film, Michael Moore in Trumpland, which I guess was illegally posted on YouTube. I watched about half an hour of it while I was fixing dinner a few nights ago. And then I dropped my phone somewhere, and when I went to put on the connection again, the video had been pulled, but I did get to see the first half hour. And he was also, Michael Moore, on Democracy Now!, Amy Goodman's great show, so you can catch some of what he has to say there. Anyway, we're kind of really living in a time of Hall of Mirrors. Let me see. I also want to, before I lose the plot here, which I might do tonight, but I'll do my best. I did see a great documentary on the Irish TV here from Bob Geldof, the great Bob Geldof, on William Butler Yeats, who is, of course, the poet laureate of Ireland, no doubt about it. And so I guess I'll borrow a little wisdom from William Butler Yeats here to set the tone of things and begin to talk about things, and then we'll find our hope and make our peace with what's going on. Yeah, good to have you all here. This is his great poem, The Second Coming. William Butler Yeats, who died in 1939. He says, turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. Here's my favorite quote from Yeats: the best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming. Hardly are those words out, when a vast image of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. A waste of desert sand, a shape with lion body and the head of a man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun. It's moving its slow thighs, while all about it wind shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again, but now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born? So that's a pretty dark poem, my friends. Yeah, but there's a facing of a terrible truth, or a challenging truth. Yeah, and of course, Yeats was he came up during the Easter Rising, and was really the literary and creative, if not spiritual, heart of Ireland for a lot of his lifetime. And he wasn't always loved, but he was always respected, put it that way. And he had a indelible and an undeniable influence on the country, and he's certainly one of the fathers of the culture and the politics of modern Ireland. So I really do revere him and respect him enormously. And the great thing about Yeats, and this is a good place to find some hope in everything, is that obviously he was a poet and a writer, and he created the Abbey Theatre with others, and he was a senator at one point, and he gave his all to try to create a vision through his talent and his words, without ever firing a gun or ever committing any violent act, just by using magic and mysticism in the best sense of the words, as a good guy, for the light, for spirit, for justice and tolerance and compassion, these great callings, yeah. So he really is one of the heroes of this country, and one of the heroes of Western thought, to my mind. And I do recommend this 2-hour documentary on RTE called A Fanatic Heart, that Bob Geldorf put together with all these wonderful actors reading Yeats, Liam Neeson and Colin Farrell, and on it goes. Many Irish writers, Colm Tobin, and many others. Edna O'Brien was there. Anyway, it was a feast of Ireland and a feast of the culture, and it gave me great sustenance. All right, so now that I've done Krishna Das and William Yeats, Bill Yeats there, we can look at the American election. I think that's about right. Yeah, it's a catastrophe. Yeah, there's no better word for it, and it's a story that keeps getting worse with every passing day. And basically, what's been revealed here are the things that David Icke and others have talked about for a long time, which is that many of the most powerful people in the world are not very nice, and they do some terrible things, to entertain themselves or to stay in power, etc., etc. I'm not even going to go into the details, because that would just utterly wreck my head. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, you can find out quickly enough. But what Steve Pieczenik, who Alex Jones has had on before, he's interesting. He's a Trump supporter, so of course I draw the line right there. But what's being revealed about Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and the emails and all of this is an absolute nightmare. So we're going to need to brace ourselves, everyone, and we're going to need to really, work past our own cynicism and despair in the big wide world. My teacher Lazarus here, just to give us some nice contrast. There we go. They give us a quote for each month. And last month was quite involved about, October was quite involved about the between of worlds. And, my guides talk about, and I've talked about, the space for grace, and how, when we create a moment like this in our busy lives, where we pull our attention, more on our inner guidance, and, try to integrate and process and make sense of things, that's a space for grace. So October was all about the Between of Worlds, their version of that. Here's Lazarus's quote for November, which is quite simple and quite hopeful. It's all about hope. They say, be adrift in a sea of luminous hope. Excuse me. Be sated, drink, be filled, be brilliant. Be luminous in the light of hope for yourself and for those you love. Be luminous with boundless hope for the world. So, as I say, I've studied with Lazarus for 30 years, and they are the most trustworthy and the most accurate source of information that I've ever found. And so that's why I continue to respect them, appreciate them, work with them, and share their messages. So it's a time when the world is really going to need some hope. What's going to happen on Tuesday? I think Hillary Clinton is going to get elected, and I think that there are millions, or whatever that means, election, in quotes, democracy, in quotes, election, in quotes, free media, in quotes, it's all a bit of a, what did Russell Brand say? He said Hillary and Donald were sort of a bad Punch and Judy show, pantomime, and that's really true, one is worse than the other. And as I say, every day there's more reasons for thinking people to honestly to despair and feel hopeless and feel extremely, more than that, shocked and betrayed and heartbroken and all these kinds of things. I feel your pain, as the saying goes. Yeah, Bill Clinton used to say that. Yeah, but we need to kind of move past all of that because. Even if Jill Stein, God love her, gets 10 points, 5 points, 15 points, however it works out, it's a coronation. It's been a coronation for Hillary and Bill. It's the best democracy money can buy, and they've paid for this, in money and blood. Sadly, their own and others, for a long, long time. And that doesn't mean they're the best leaders that we can create. They're far from it. But what it does mean is that, it's kind of like I think of Hamlet and I think of Macbeth and I think of Othello and I think of the great stories where, Lear, where the kings are mad, and there's something rotten in the state of Denmark. And, a game is being played on the people. And, the people have begun to really figure that out more and more. What was amazing about Michael Moore's film, Michael in Trumpland, is, of course, I really do love and respect Michael Moore for many good reasons. He is, his documentaries have been very inspiring. And I think he's a thoughtful, kind, caring person. But what happens in propaganda, what happens in mind control, what happens in black magic, and all these kinds of lovely things, is that, we're distracted from what's important. This is the media in a nutshell, and we're obsessed with what we will allow ourselves to be worried about or upset about or angry about. So Michael's talking, Michael's trying to pitch Hillary to the Trump people, and he makes some good sense and good cases and all of that. But certainly that is all absolutely, if the Bernie people were pissed off a few months ago in July during the convention, and walked out, I can only imagine what they're thinking today when all this information about, pedophilia and child trafficking and Satanism and all these lovely topics are beginning to fall onto the public consciousness. Like I said, I'm not going to go too much into any of those topics because they really are pretty overwhelming for most people. In the year 2000, I started reading David Icke's book, The Biggest Secret, and Leonard Horowitz, his book, Metaphysical Healing Codes from the Bible, something like this. Anyway, it was about the conspiracy, you know, and it has ceased to be a theory in my life for certainly the last 16 years. And then we had 9/11, and here's Anonymous saying that Uma Abedin is directly connected to the Saudi Arabian government that was instrumental in the creation of 9/11. So you know, there's a lot of things to confront about all of this, yeah. And not everyone's going to be able to handle it. That's, I think, the important point here. You know, I know all of the people. There's Hillary, Barbara, welcome everyone, Dolores. I know all the people that would listen to what I have to talk about. You know, you're thoughtful. You think for yourself. You know, you're on a spiritual path. You practice meditation, prayer of some form, I trust. You keep a journal. You have creative outlets. You have good people in your life who you feel safe to be intimate with. You have good sense of community. All of these essential things. This is the time, you know, when we're really going to need each other now, because Bashar. Remember a few months ago, Bashar was saying that he said this for a while, that after the fall of 2016, everything's going to change. Well, now we're seeing why that is so. So, you know, in the astrology of the U.S., this is the beginning of the Pluto return, and it also has to do with a few other aspects there as well. But basically, you know, as I've talked about from my own experience as a channel, as a healer, as a student and a practitioner of these principles and ideas and ideals, there are 4 stages of emotional healing. Let's talk about that again for just a moment. The first stage is confronting denial. This is what's happening in the election. The illusions of trusting people who are unworthy of our trust, or of being lied to, or of lying to ourselves in order to believe in the safety and the wisdom of giving our power to people who are not worthy of our trust. That's all denial. And so that's the hardest part of the journey, is confronting denial. Excuse me. I mean, I've been sober for 30 years myself, and I was a hopeless pothead in my 20s. And, you know, so I have a very intimate relationship with addiction. My father was an alcoholic. And, you know, what addiction is and what denial is. Addiction is denial, denial is addiction. It's the same thing. And they're both fear-based belief systems where we say, I can't see this, I can't look at this, I can't acknowledge this, I can't process this, I can't believe this, etc., etc. Our friends that run the media, that create the governments, that fund the corporations, that divvy up the resources, that run the planet, basically. A lot of them are going to be exposed for what they really are, which is, extremely dark, basically. So, excuse me, it's not to sit in judgment of them or the darkness, that we all have a part of within us. It's to have a sense of compassion and a sense of courage and a sense of willingness to be an instrument, a channel, for the love and light of all that is, to say that this can now be healed, that this can now be addressed, that this can now be integrated. But that's a slow process. And basically, I was thinking of this before the talk here tonight, before I started. My guides say that to the degree that we faced our own darkness is the degree to which we can see the darkness in the world and face that darkness. So all of us that have been on the spiritual journey throughout this and other lifetimes, Spirit has said many times, we have been prepared, we are being prepared for these intense and powerful accelerations of consciousness. And so, in order for us to raise in vibration, in order for us to heal, in order for us to take our power back, we have to be willing to look at the darkness that's in the world. And, when I started reading David Icke and Leonard Horowitz and these people back around 2000, I said, I don't want to know this shit. I don't want to know about this. This is terrifying. This is awful. But the clear message from my guidance was, you're going to need to know about this. So, I have two beautiful friends that have been teachers to me about all of this, about facing and healing the darkness in the world. And that's my dear friends Judy Amber Chase and Dove Gertzweig. And we're very close, and we spent a lot of time together. And Judy and Dove had personal experiences with all of this. And I might go into that at another point. But basically, these things do happen, that children do go missing and terrible things have happened to them, and that governments have been involved in this. Just like the same thing with, that the drug enforcement agencies are the ones shipping the drugs, over the borders and selling them, et cetera, et cetera. So again, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole too far. I just want to acknowledge to all of us here, myself included, as always, that, my friends, there's help to heal and to change our beliefs and to come back into alignment with love and light. And that's what this time is more and more and more going to be really asking us to learn to do. So I love the quote, of course, from the Course in Miracles, the introduction, that says, nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Yeah. So, as my guides and all the teachers talk about paradox, Jesus' great quote, the secret is to live in the world, but not of the world. The secret is to have a space for grace, to know that we have a foot in each reality, the third and the fifth dimension. So, this is that time, that we've been moving more and more consciously into. So we all have our own, darkness and shadow and pain and fear and denial and all of that fun stuff, but to the degree, again, that we've taken responsibility for healing our fears, for making amends, for acting with integrity, for speaking the truth, for forgiving ourselves, for forgiving each other, to that degree, we have a compassionate and loving heart, And I say again, when I'll talk about the voice of spirit tomorrow on my Skype call, you're all invited, that's what inspiration is. Inspiration is that which is empowering, exciting, uplifting, transforming. It's the lead into gold, it's the poison into medicine, etc., etc. I also want to say, that we're going to need to find our voices, and we'll do that here together before we finish up in a little bit, to know that, we're the love and light of all that is us, that God got us all that is, created us for a spiritual purpose, that the light allows the darkness, the light accepts the darkness, the light doesn't need to dominate the darkness, the light doesn't need to prove the darkness wrong. The light brings the darkness into itself and brings the darkness back into the light. And so we need to be willing to make that journey every day in our own hearts. I'm not a fan of Hillary Clinton for all the obvious reasons, and I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, and I'm deeply suspect that such a thing as an election has been real for a long time. It wasn't real in both of George Bush's elections. It wasn't, on it goes. I don't need to go down the whole list, but it would be nice if truth, justice, democracy, honesty, integrity, compassion, tolerance, love of the earth, love of humanity. If those values, it will be nice as those values begin to come more consciously into our lives. So I guess what I want to say here is be very good to yourselves over this next week, because it is definitely going to be a roller coaster. And people who love Trump and think he's the answer, and as I said, I got to see their faces more up close from Michael Moore's film. They're hugely angry. There's a lot of hugely angry people in the U.S. and in the world. And when people feel that, of course, when we feel we've been lied to, or our chances have been taken from us, people get very upset. So we're going to be called on by Spirit to hold the center, to be the calm in the storm, to stay grounded, to stay centered, to go within, to take time and make space for peace as often and as deeply as possible. Yeah. So, we might even pray for all of those people. Wouldn't that be a great idea? Yeah, here in a minute. If you've been on my talks before, I will just mention this again, and I'll post it again. Patricia Cota-Robles, who's one of my favorites. Here's just a reminder from her from October 4th, and her prayer about divine government. I won't do the prayer tonight because we've done it several times, but I'll post it again. And just her introduction. This is a critical moment in the evolution of humanity and the ascension process we are all experiencing at this time. There is a divine plan unfolding that may not be obvious to our finite minds, but that humanity's I Am presence and the legions of light in the realms of illumined truth are well aware of and are orchestrating in divine order. As you know, the United States is in the midst of its most polarized presidential election we have ever experienced. It seems as though the political parties are diametrically opposed, and no one knows what the end result will be. Whether we like it or not, what happens in the U.S. affects the world, positively or negatively. The Company of Heaven is asking for awakening light workers to intervene in this political fiasco, and instead of empowering the chaos, this is why I'm reading it, by focusing on the negativity, we are being asked to co-create the patterns of perfection for the new earth that we know how to create. These are the patterns that our I Am presence has been training us for lifetimes to co-create when the time was right. That time is now. So, again, just that reminder, and I will post that as I say, so you can do that over the next few days. I'll probably will jump on here again before Tuesday, because things are changing very quickly. But, and Lazarus, my teacher, says this is, the most important election of our lifetime. And, it's, let me give you my 2 cents here one more time. It's not important because of who wins or who loses, or whether there is an election, or whether we all agree about who wins or who loses. It's important because we need to take our power back. And I want to say once again, that is what Standing Rock and the heroic, courageous, powerful example the indigenous people have been giving day after day after day in North Dakota. And I just saw over the last few days that 500 clergy have shown up there to support them, which is wonderful, because the Indians have been getting pepper sprayed and maced and shot with rubber bullets and beaten and strip searched and put in dog cages, and one humiliation and violence after another. They've been standing in the water itself of the Missouri River, I believe, putting themselves between the police and the company there. An amazing thing, what Amy showed on Democracy Now! The guy who is the financial person behind the pipeline is a big Jackson Browne fan and is a guitar player himself. I can't remember his name, Kyle something. He's from Texas, and he's done these music festivals, and he's had Jackson Browne, and he did a tribute album to Jackson Browne, and so Jackson has written to Kyle that he's not accepting his money or his support, and he's not here to back up people that are taking the sacred lands of the Indians, etc. So that was an amazing cultural moment. So Kyle's having a real awakening about the cost of his ambitions and how that affects the rest of his life as well. So here's to Jackson and the Indigo Girls. They're doing a concert in North Dakota at the end of the month. Bonnie Raitt as well. So I'm delighted to see that. All right, I'm going to do this prayer again here, and then I'll do a channeling. Yeah, that's the message tonight. So thanks so much for listening. And LouMartin.eu for channeled sessions and for readings and for my ebook, The Invitation, which I really encourage you to take a look at. I'm so proud of it. Brenda and Arancha have created that with me, and we're posting that every few days, and that's great joy. Awakened Spirits Network to keep track of what I'm doing and what other great teachers are doing. I like everyone who's on the network, all good people. And if you want to make a donation, it's the email is lightheart2012@gmail.com to PayPal. So thank you for listening. It's a pleasure to be here with you. My fire needs some feeding. So let's do Call for Divine Government, and then I'll do a channeling and we'll close out. From my heart to yours, thanks for listening. Stay strong. All will be well. It's an exciting time to be alive. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Call for divine government. I am my I am presence, and I am one with the I am presence of all humanity. As one breath, one voice, one heartbeat, and one energy, vibration and consciousness of pure divine love, I invoke my Father, Mother God, and the great beings of light associated with co-creating divine government on this blessed planet. I also invoke the mighty archangels and the ascended masters guarding the evolutions of earth. Blessed ones, blaze the most intensified frequencies of divine will, divine love, and divine wisdom from the very heart of our Father, Mother God, in, through, and around every person involved with the governments of earth in any way. I ask that you exponentially expand this divine light within the heart flame of every man and woman running for office in the U.S. at national, state, and local levels. Now, beloved legions of light, blaze these intensified frequencies of divine will, divine love, and divine wisdom in, through, and around every single registered voter in the U.S. Awaken the entire electorate to the profound opportunity at hand, and enlighten every person to the profound truth that it is time for divine government to manifest now. Let each person tangibly feel and experience the power, love, and wisdom of our Father, Mother God, flowing through their heart flame as they vote for each candidate and all the issues before them. I now invoke the I Am presence of every person who will be elected during this election season and all those who are presently serving at national, state, or local levels to take full dominion of that person's thoughts, feelings, words, actions, beliefs, and memories. Help that person to hear and to listen to the still small voice within that will guide him or her unerringly toward the fulfillment of the unfolding divine plan for this sweet earth. Now, beloved ones, seal the activity of light. I have invoked this sacred and holy day in the immortal, victorious, threefold flame anchored within my heart and the heart of every person on earth. Expand this activity of light daily and hourly, 1,000 times 1,000-fold, until planet Earth and all life evolving upon her have God victoriously completed our ascension into the fifth dimensional frequencies of the new Earth. Now, through all realms of consciousness, I decree, victory is ours in love, governing this planet. Victory is ours in love, governing this planet. Victory is ours in love, governing this planet. And so it is. Beloved I am, beloved I am, beloved I am. So, okay, here we go. So, take another deep breath. All right, dear friends, here we come one more time. Dear ones, imagine it through your open hearts. Imagine your open hearts wherever you are in the world right now, connecting as a grid of light. Imagine a beautiful blue-white beam of the light of your spirit coming down from above, touching your crown, taking a deep breath, surrounding and supporting your physical, emotional, mental, and etheric body in a beautiful blue-white light of your soul and spirit, of dominion, of conscious and loving co-creation, of enlightened humanity with enlightened spirit, as one, inseparable, eternal, perfect, whole, ever evolving, ever expanding, ever growing, ever loving, ever being, evermore. Take a deep breath, put a hand to the heart. Imagine that beam of light now connect everyone listening to this meditation at this moment, right here and now, in all the different spots on the planet where you find yourself in this moment, in all the different circumstances that you find your life, yeah? Dear friends, with your hopes and your dreams, your prayers and your desires, to be the web of light and to co-create this grid of light around the earth, connecting all open hearts, all open minds, creating a space for grace, dear friends, so that the healing of humanity, the divisions, the conflicts, the seeking of domination, the fear, the poverty, the separation, the uncertainty, the struggle, let all of that go. Let all of that fall away. Let all of that be lifted up. Let all of that be released. Take a deep breath. I am the center of the universe. I am the peaceful prayer of all that is. I am the light and love of all that is as me. Take a deep breath. I am the peace. I am the love. I am the abundance. I am the joy. I am the happiness. I am the freedom. I am the fulfillment of the human desire to know myself, to know humanity as spirit, as empowered, as light, as transformed, as love, as liberated and set free. Take a deep breath. And dear friends, let your own personal dreams and desires now mix with the streams of energy flowing from your beautiful, loving hearts, connecting this powerful, magnificent grid of light, heart to heart, center to center, life to life, one after another. See and feel the light of your spirit turning on, turning up, all around the world, stretching across the cultures, the countries, stretching across the boundaries, the borders, stretching across the illusions of separation, creating a vibrant, vital, powerful, passionate vibration of love and healing, of love and freedom, of love and transformation. Let the light of love be loosed upon your life. Take a deep breath. Let the light of love flow into your life. Let the light of love inspire your life, empower your life, transform your life. Let the light of love lift you up and set you free. Take a deep breath. Waves of light, waves of love, waves of peace, waves of healing, of compassion, of understanding, of forgiveness, of deep, powerful, beautiful, soul-filled, spirit-filled healing, loving, releasing, unfolding, expanding, expressing, touching the minds of humanity, touching the minds throughout this universe, touching the minds of all that is, opening, reaching, remembering, realizing, recognizing, receiving, conceiving, perceiving. Take a deep breath. The mind that has created this world is in my mind now, and I co-create the new world with the one mind of all that is. The love that has birthed this consciousness as this world, as humanity, births my consciousness as one, and I give birth to a new consciousness, a new humanity, a new love. Take a deep breath. And let us now fill in the spaces of all those grids as one single light, a blanket of love, an embrace of spirit, holding every heart, touching every mind, lifting every life, surrounding this beautiful world, blessing Gaia Mother Earth, blessing humanity, blessing the animals, blessing the plants, blessing the minerals, blessing the elements, blessing the air, blessing the earth, blessing the waters, blessing the fires. Take a deep breath. And come back to this time and space knowing that your prayers are heard, that your vibration is received, that you matter, that your dreams and desires, your prayers and songs and poems, your vision, your voice, it matters. You matter to the future of your earth. You matter to the future of humanity. And the future matters to you. The future reaches out through time and space and brings you a blessing, a gift, a new idea, a new resource, a new realization, a new relationship, open to the abundance of the future of humanity, open to the joy of the future of the earth, open to the freedom of being the love and light of all that is as you. Take a deep breath. Dear friends, we love you. We'll meet again. Be at peace. All is truly well for you. Give thanks. In the midst of great change, great clarity, give thanks. The future is yours. Peace and blessings. Namaste. Thank you. Okay, my friends, thanks a million. Peace and blessings.